welcome to the MVoices Podcast. My name is Shirat Namayanja and I will be your host today. So, oftentimes when we are working or not, there's that anxiety that creeps up on you when you look at other people and you start comparing yourself to them. It can be in very many different ways. Sometimes it is genuine envy, other times it's justified jealousy, and that is what we will be talking about today. When we look at all of these things, how do we cope with them? How do we understand what's going on? And how do we get out of the mentality of our anxiety being triggered by this and into an acceptance of, okay, so things can still move like this, but I can also still be okay. And today with me, I have a lovely woman that is a powerhouse when it comes to advocacy, when it comes to championing mental health. And she'll be introducing herself and telling us what she does. And we'll dive straight into the conversation. Hi, Martha.
Hi.
It's lovely to have you here. Tell us a bit about who Martha is.
Wow. So I am Martha Clara Nakato, and I'm a leadership incubator and also a mentor for very many rising young people. And I think for me, I thrive by lifting people and really bringing out the talent in the rising stars.
Ooh, that is okay. That is definitely something we have to come back to.
Yeah.
But going back to our topic for today. So when we look at all the anxiety that we get from, just watching other people's success, and then, you sometimes lose motivation. So how can you tell the exact moment that, this is something that is happening? And it's not just motivation. Now it feels totally paralyzing, me looking at someone else's success.
So comparison anxiety. It's not really a new topic. It's been there for the longest time. And I think in our everyday life, people experience it. I have personally experienced it as a young professional. And to go back to your question, it's the question of at what point does someone realize that I'm being toxic to my own self? I'm
Yes.
insulting my own self. And it's when you start comparing your journey to other people's journey. It's when I start saying that, oh my God, when I look at a Martha and I'm at the same age with Martha, she's somewhere, she's doing a lot, she's out there in the world. And I'm also there. I'm like, but also I'm a rising activist, I'm a public health professional, and I'm not anywhere. The moment that clocks in and you're able to now compare and say, I am not anywhere. The people in my age category are somewhere. Some are CEOs, some are living the dream, and I'm not anything. That becomes comparison anxiety. And it is sad in a way because it's okay to compare, because through comparing ourselves with each other, we are able to learn basic skills on how do we do better, how do we improve. But more than anything, is the question of if that person can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
But now with the comparison anxiety, it becomes negative. You start saying, oh, I am not enough. I'm not doing enough. My age mates are somewhere exploring the world,
I'm
living the dream.
behind.
And me, I am just
Yeah.
behind. No, no one is ever behind, because our journeys, our lives experiences are totally different. And whatever your journey is, it is just okay. For me, it would be a question of what can you learn from the Marthas, from the Shirats, from the many people who are out there in the world who are succeeding. What is that one, two thing that they are doing that you can learn to do better?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get it, because sometimes, especially in this day and age, you see someone on social media and you're like, but wait, we're the same age. Why are they just moving way too fast for me to keep up with? But it is also something that I think my generation has done way too much of. As Gen Zs, we over compare ourselves
Yeah.
because we all think we have to be on the same route. We have to be somewhere all together in a bundle, and yet that isn't necessarily how any of it works.
Yeah.
And you have shared that this is something you have struggled with at
Yeah.
one point, and I think it's to a level of understanding that, okay, I've been there, but I got out of it, and not many people are able to get out of this. So why do we sometimes mistake this freezing response or feeling and instead start changing it into us feeling like we are lazy, we are not doing enough, when it's actually just your brain trying to protect you from feeling like you're failing. So instead, you just internalize that and turn that into negativity when it's not negative in any way, to feel, like, okay, so someone else is doing this and that and that, like you've said. Instead of learning from it, you internalize it into something worse.
I think it's human nature. We all desire to be something beautiful. We all desire to be mighty. We all desire to be powerful, to be known, to be something that everyone associates with. And you said something earlier about how we check the online, that doom scrolling, and you're like, oh my God, internet is a hoax. It's a lie.
Well,
our lives are like action movies. Every day when you step out of that house, you're literally acting. So we cannot insult ourselves that bad to now compare ourselves to other people. Because just think about it. If I gave you a day in my life, you would want to say, no, I don't want to live MC's life. My life is better off. So everyone is going through something in life. We are all battling something, and it is important that young people, the youth, focus on their own selves, their own journey, and figure out, who am I? Who do I want to be? How can I get there? How can I be better? What is lagging me? And I always tell people that you are your worst enemy, because everything that is happening to you, you know it. You know what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And you have the resources, you have the zealous, you have the power to pull yourself out of that dish and do something great. And for me, the reason why I'm saying this, to also just send it back to your question, is God is such an amazing creator, because he gave us emotions. You see, these emotions that we have, they are instructions.
Okay,
but those instructions come in form of information, depending on how you see it. You could wake up one day and say, I'm having a headache. Immediately you're able to say, I am not feeling well. You're able to say that, oh my God, things are not working. What could be the problem? Perhaps I procrastinate a lot. Perhaps I've not taken time to learn, to master it and do it perfectly. So God was that powerful that he gave us those senses that drive us to have the information, to know what is happening into our lives, and to also know what we can do better. I think the biggest mistakes that we make in life is when we hear our emotions and then we want to assume that those are instructions, that we are not enough, we've not done enough. For me, it's the question of, how do you also appreciate your journey? If you're to close your eyes right now and think about yourself 10 years ago,
Oh my goodness.
For me, I can tell you 10 years ago, if anyone asked me, would you be who you are right now? No. I never even believed that, I would be what I am today. Never. When I was 18, 17, 19 years, never. So very many times we do not take time to appreciate the moment.
Yeah.
But also just being able to say, I am breathing. I am alive.
Yeah.
I am healthy. And then we start with that journey of really appreciating. I feel that very many times people don't look in. We don't look inside ourselves and the world around us. Just you in your space, where you are. We want to look out now.
Well, because we are sometimes conditioned to do that. Because we are told from a very early age, you have to look at what everyone else is doing to push yourself. So why is this then not me pushing myself?
For me, I think it's a question of learning. If I see someone that I admire so much, I am thrilled to learn from them. But it's a lie if I want to say that I want to be like that person, because I can never be you. I was having a conversation with a very, very close friend of mine who is a CEO. He's young, 32 years, CEO of a very, very prominent company, global company. And then he was telling me, oh my God, Mara, I admire you. I like your energy. I like yours. I'm like, but man, I admire you. See, you're the guru, with all this AI. You're literally living the dream. And it's like, no, I don't want this for myself. I want your life. So I went back home that night and I was thinking, I was like, okay, so this person is not happy about their lives with all the billions and millions and billions that they're making, you know? So why am I telling you this? That very many times people want to assume that success or achievement are the things that you have, the money,
Yes.
the wealth,
The status,
the
everything
status,
matters.
which is a lie, because success is defined differently for different people. So you could be out there and for you, you're very big on friends. I have friends. One of the biggest wealth that I have in my life are the childhood friends that I still have.
Oh, wow.
The people that I went to school with in primary, P2, P3, P4, we are very close. Not everyone has that.
I don't.
You know, so for me, that is wealth. That every time when I feel lonely, I'm going to pick my phone and I'm going to call one of them. Hey,
Yeah.
we're going to meet over the weekend. And that's just enough for me. So young people need to be able to define what is success. What does achievement look like? For me, it could look like waking up today and I'm healthy. And I have access to the ARVs as a person living with HIV that, you know, some people do not even have access to.
True.
You know, or maybe I'm just having this beautiful flawless skin. Another person may not see that as, you know, a success. For me, it is. If you meet someone who has had terrible skin days, and now they are somewhere where they're flooring, they will tell you, for me, this is an achievement.
Yeah.
So why am I telling you this? That we need to be able to appreciate our journey beyond the things that we want to accumulate. You know, but basic things like, I have completed this, I have done this. Today I've woken up alive. So appreciating the moment.
Yeah, I hear you, because there was this trend recently on TikTok where people bought cakes and they come to the camera and say, hi, my name is Shred, and this year I completed this. Hi, my name is Shred, and it just keeps going in a loop, in a loop. And at first I saw one that filled the whole cake, and I'm like, sis, we got that many achievements. I am happy I made it out of the night and I am here today, and that's an achievement enough for me. So I think as young professionals or young people in general, the comparison doesn't even come from the actual comparison. It comes from us being too hard on ourselves and seeing everyone else live the life we supposedly think is perfect, and we compare ourselves to those lives instead of, like you've said, appreciating our journey, appreciating where we are and where we will be getting with the way that we keep going with our lives.
And you also know, one funny thing is, when you compare yourselves with other people, not to learn, not to be inspired, it is tiring. Because it means, one, you're going to start self-judging, you're going to critique yourself, and you're literally demotivating yourself. So how are you going to have the energy to even do anything? To do anything? You will not. That is why you'll find someone who is always sleeping.
Yes.
And they think, you know, for me, I am not enough. I'm just giving up. You know, let me sleep. And then you'll find another person who has seen someone. They're like, oh my God, I want to be like this person. And then when they wake up, they're going to do something.
Yes.
You know?
That is
I can tell you something. Last year, it happened to me. I was going through a phase in my life, and I was, you know what, let me first take a sabbatical for my life and just rest. I did not want to do anything. I would wake up and just sleep and say, you know what, I am tired. I'm not going to do anything. And then I just woke up one morning, and then there is this one person that I've always wanted to be in touch with. And I'm like, let me just throw them an email, a funny email. So I wrote them an email. In my head, I was like, they will not respond after all. That evening, this person responded, and he said, I have seen a lot about you, and I was just finding ways of reaching out to you. When we went for coffee, it was interesting that this person has always wanted to meet me. Yet, I've always wanted to meet this person. So why am I saying this? That we don't need to take a lot of time to think about it in the moment. You know, every time you feel like I'm not doing enough, think about something that you've always wanted to do. Do it in the moment. Do it. Don't wait.
That's a very interesting take. I might take you up on that one.
Yeah.
Because, I think sometimes it's just So my next question is on friendships and how sometimes your friend's success can be a sort of an issue because we have friends on LinkedIn that we've added, to just create a circle, but then you see them post all the time. Also, I genuinely think personally that LinkedIn is very performative and it
Yeah.
just pushes sort of an agenda for some people to really feel behind, even when it doesn't necessarily feel like that. So how do you as a person stop a friend's success from making you feel bad about yourself or making you feel like you're behind, and instead use it as fuel to just push you further?
Interesting. Because why are you in the first place, feeling bad about your friend's success?
Well, you never know.
you know and for me, you said something earlier, and it's also something that I said from the start. We are living a world of action. People every day act.
Yes.
Someone wakes up today and then they post online. When I was still a young person, I used to do that. Woo, every day I would be posting every day, every day, every day. And now that I have grown, I'm able to ask myself, okay, why am I posting in the first place? Who is my target audience? Why does this matter? Why should I say it anyway? And those are very many questions that very many people do not
Do
get
not
to
ask.
have.
Yes.
So sending it back to the person, if maybe you're in this moment, you're having, all that anxiety that you're not enough, you're not doing, anything. The question is, okay, why do you feel these things anyway?
Yeah.
We need to first ask the question of why are you feeling that way before we even address what you're feeling. Because the why of why you're feeling that way has some information and unfinished business that we need to address. Perhaps your friends are succeeding and they're doing something, and then you're angry about it, you're sad about it. Are you doing anything? If the answer is you're not doing anything, then the lesson would be, can I do something now? Perhaps if I start journey, small, slow steps, I'll get there in the next week. Perhaps I'll also get a lot of people who like that, but I'm like, okay, I'm doing something,
Yeah.
So if you're not doing anything, then you have no right whatsoever to feel terrible, because you are the problem. I like telling people that you are your worst enemy. You are your own problem. Until we get into a space whereby you can confront yourself and say, listen, I am the problem. I have not done enough. I've beat myself so much, but then it is me who is the problem. Then we can find a solution. But if you're not even on that journey of confronting yourself, then you're not doing enough to get out of that hole. So how can we support young people or whoever the person is,
Yeah.
to be able to say, I'm seeing this, I'm not doing enough, maybe I have to do something.
Yeah, but I could be doing something, but I just feel like everything I'm doing just isn't working. Because I'm pretty sure there are people out there that might be watching this or listening in and say, but I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm doing what I can do in my capacity. But it just feels like I'm not getting where I need to be getting, and things just aren't working. There's that perspective
Maybe
too.
you're also not just doing it the right way. I'll tell you something. I have one of my mentors, one of the most amazing ladies who happened to mentor me, Sibulele Sibaka. And the first exercise that we did that has really changed my life is she told me, give me 5 people who know you, who you believe know you. And I want to reach out to those people to ask them questions. I gave her the names and the emails. She wrote to these people. They all responded. I can tell you, 8 years down the road, when I was reflecting last year and reading all, I happened to know one of the persons, and I figured out this person knows me. She is a real friend. So why am I saying this? You could be comparing yourself to people who are not even genuinely your friends. You're just surrounded by bad energy, naysayers, people who are not for you. When you're with them, it's about the vibe. And then when you're out of there, they are not your people. They're just people you meet in the moment.
Yeah.
So who are your people? I can tell you, for me now, I am so confident that I know my people. I know my clan. And these are the people that I will look out for and say, hey, Patricia, life is a mess. Please guide me. And whatever this person will tell me, I will listen. So back to the people out there. Who are your people? Because I cannot compare myself with people who are genuinely your friends. You would want to learn from those
Exactly.
people. You want to be inspired. But the fact that you even have the iota of jealousy and you're feeling bad about the achievements of this person, that person is not your friend. So you're comparing in the wrong places. For me, one thing that has worked for me years ago when I was in my early 20s, I was like, I'm not doing enough. You know, I was everywhere. I'm not doing enough. The first step that I had to take was to identify, what do I want to be? Where can I put all the energy and my voice? What are the skills that I have? So knowing your SWOT. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities that are surrounding you? What is that one thing that scares you so much, like your threats? People need to be able to define that. The other thing that also worked out for me was knowing me. Do you even know your Johari? Who are you? Do you know who you are? Like,
Yeah.
who am I? It's a question that I still battle with every day. So if you do not even know who you are, then you're not just doing it right. The first step for any person who is desiring and yearning to be something powerful in this world, you need to know who you are. Mastering yourself. Who are you?
Yeah.
Because once you know that, you will reach a point when you cannot even compare yourself and say, I am not enough because I am not this. You'll only reach a place of saying, okay, I am inspired when I listen to these people. When I listen to Stephen Barrett, I am inspired. When I listen to Obama, I am inspired.
Yes.
What is that thing that they do that I need to do? Pick up those skills and learn them and carve out something that is unique about who you are. And then the other thing is, as I said earlier, is I do not want to downplay what you're going through, because our emotions are information. It is just like when you're trying to beat grief, those stages of grief. So we need to accept in the moment, accept your emotions. Accept the emotions beyond, I am not enough, but why am I feeling this way? What is driving me to feel this way? What can I do to get myself out? So asking those questions. Because psychologically, every time you're negative to your mind, it curves you to more negativity. It curves you into a place of giving up.
Yeah.
That is the mind. But the moment you're able to put your mind on spotlight and ask it questions like, why am I feeling this way? What does this mean for me? How can I move out of this? Psychologically, your mind shifts. And now you start putting yourself into a place of action, of wanting to do better,
Yes.
wanting to become better, and wanting to resolve all this. So people need to start by validating whatever you're feeling. What you're feeling is okay. What you're feeling, maybe I am not enough. You're not enough. Because again, you cannot say I am not enough when you're basing it on other people's achievements. No. What if you also have those wonderful achievements that you've not just unveiled? So we need to accept where we are, validate those emotions, and then ask the why and the why and the why. And then carve out a solution. How can I get out of this?
Okay. That's a very interesting perspective, I'll say for sure. But also I think genuinely, I think sometimes everyone falters here and there. And there might be that one time where you catch yourself thinking, oh, okay, I just kind of had a thought at the back of my head that maybe my friend is better than me. Address it with yourself and then talk to them. Because that is where growth comes from.
True.
Acknowledging that, okay, there are gaps here and there with me, and I feel like my friend is where I want to be. She or he can help me get there. Because if they are your friend, by all means, they are your support system as well. And that is, I believe, a way forward for some people, for some of us, when it comes to acknowledging that, I think so-and-so is doing better than me. And I acknowledge our journeys are not the same, but she or he can help me in this regard. And instead, because when you keep that to yourself, that is where jealousy comes from. That is where it all festers. And that is how you hear people say, she was my friend, but when I got to place A, B, C, D, she stopped talking to me. Because it's
she was not your friend
feelings.
in the first place.
that then started rising from them, from the small admiration of, oh, they're doing well, to then, oh, they are doing well, to why are they doing well? And then that is where it all cuts off from. And then the friendship just kind of dissolves into enmity that shouldn't even have been there in the first place if you walked with your person. So now, when we look at all of these things, yes, we have talked about them, we have named them, and we are talking about maybe you just need to address it and move forward. What are some of the tricks and just some of the few things, solutions, or just some things that people can do that are practical to get out of the mindset of, I am freaking out, nothing is working, I am a failure, nothing is going on the way it's supposed to be, into, okay, now I need to start working on myself. This is what I want to be doing. This is what I need to be doing. And I am starting now, not procrastinating.
Yeah. For me, it goes back to the first thing that I said. You are your worst enemy, but also you are your best savior. So the first thing that we need to do with is you as a person. Validate whatever emotions that you're feeling. Hold yourself by the chest and say, I am going through this.
Yes.
It is okay. I'll get out of it. For me, part of the things that have worked for me throughout my professional journey is when I wake up every morning, I like the power of affirmations. Because I understand my journey as that 14-year-old who really grew up and was finding her purpose and her life. So when I wake up every day, I'm able to look back at that low self-esteemed Martha Clara, 14 years. And now, she's somewhere blossoming. So people need to start by validate yourself. Validate that inner child. When you wake up every day and you give her the psychological safety that the world will not give you, yourself, you're going to give it to yourself. Because when you feel safe inside, things move. When you feel safe inside, trust me, things are so smooth and things will move for you. It means you will start seeing every negative thing as positivity. Where you're feeling all this, negativity of people's achievement, you will start feeling now positive energy. What is it that they are doing? You will be more inspired. You put the work. So one, start with yourself. I will start with myself every day.
Yeah.
Affirm yourself. That's the first thing. The other second thing is, in the moment, I have learned the power of journaling. Sometimes we underestimate the power of writing, what you feel in the moment. So every time you're feeling negative in any way, write it down. It could be in your phone. Your phones have the notepad. Write down something. If you're good with the book, write it down in that moment. And ask yourself those questions. Why am I feeling this way? And then the why and the why. And then, okay, so what? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to address this? And then what do you need? Because when you do that, it means you're finding solutions. And you're moving away from the complacency of complaining all the time, I'm not enough, but also the complacency of insulting yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're going to compare yourself more and more to other people's achievements, their lives that you've not even lived, then you do not just know yourself well enough. Okay? The other third thing for me is talk about it. You talked about support system. We all need someone in our lives, someone who knows us, what we know about ourselves. I've had friends who have told me, you can be a good politician. I think you're meant for politics. So figure out your people and ask them. Have these honest conversations. Forget about the friends that you only meet with when you want to go to the bar. Just a good time. In a while people. Have friends who you're able to have deep conversations. Because through those conversations, you will grow. Okay? And then the other thing that is also very powerful, I said it earlier, when you're feeling in the moment, whatever all these feelings are, you get consumed with a lot of ideas as you're thinking. So whatever idea comes up, if it's that email, do not procrastinate it. Write it. If you feel like, oh my God, this is what I want to put out in the moment, write about it. Write and maybe keep it. When you wake up the following day and you feel more better, read it. That's how ideas are born. So for me, I will still again emphasize that comparison is okay, because it's where we learn from other people. It's where we also uplift ourselves and want to do better and grow. But comparison that forces you in a space of feeling that you're not enough, you're inadequate over someone else's achievements, that is the biggest insult you can ever throw to your life. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, yeah, that is very insightful, I'd say for sure. And I think for anyone that might be watching this and feeling stuck in that position, I genuinely do recommend what Martha has said. Self. Start with yourself. That is where you start from to then just move and push past everything else that just doesn't feel like it's working for you. So, closing our conversation, Martha, what is that one thing anyone who is watching or listening or just, on the page on the same thing we're talking about, what would you advise them to do? Just one thing.
Yeah. Gratitude. There is power in gratitude. Just appreciating yourself, appreciating your journey, the milestone, and you knowing that people are living different lives. People are going through a lot of messy, people are waking up with demons, with ghosts, with all these terrible things. You cannot compare yourselves to other people. And then you say you're inadequate. You can only pick up inspiration and wanting to do better. So, gratitude. Appreciate yourself so much and appreciate God who gave you life. And appreciate the things around you, the things that mean much. Being able to wake up in the morning, having a meal, or even having that bowl of water. Just appreciating that in the moment. So gratitude, it's powerful. Gratitude and hope. Because hope always makes a way. And it does.